lads, we're back again for another tips video. This week we're in a UFC Atlanta fight night, Buckley versus Usman. Now last week we were on I was on terrible form. There's nothing else I can say, there's nothing else I can really talk about. I didn't land one thing throughout that whole bet, and the worst I've probably done, definitely the worst that there's been. But we're not going to talk about that, we're not going to look at the negatives, we're just going to move ahead and we're going to get into this week's lock of the week.
No love, God, pride.
Yes, so this week we are doing Cody Garbrandt, no love. He's fighting Ronnie Baccaras. Now, look, I'm going to pick Cody more to the fact that I think he has the power and speed advantage in this fight. Cody obviously still lands the more strikes out of both them. They land at basically the same amount of pace. Ronnie Baccaras has the wrestling. I don't think he has the wrestling that he's going to be able to use against Peyton Talbot, where he's able to keep Peyton Talbot down. I think that Cody can scramble out of it. Once Cody scrambles out of it, if they get back to the feet, Cody still has the big strikes to put people down, and I think he has the speed advantage here. I think he's going to be able to land on Baccaras. I think he's going to be able to keep Ronnie on the back foot, land maybe in the second or third round, knock him down. I think it will be a decision win. I think a 29-28 is incoming for Cody. I think that he's going to be able to wrestle decently. I don't think he's going to panic while on the ground. He's only been submitted by Deiveson Figueiredo recently. He's on a 2-fight winning streak before that, taking out Brian Kelleher and taking out... Cody's able to take out Trevin Giles and Brian Kelleher. He finished Brian Kelleher in the first round and beat Trevin Giles. It wasn't exactly a great performance, I'll be honest. That Trevin Giles one just kind of done what he needed to do. Deiveson Figueiredo submitted him in the second round. I'm not that surprised by that. Deiveson Figueiredo is still top 10 in the division, and to me, I think Ronnie's just getting a bit older. He's 38, he is a veteran of the sport, but when you're reaching those type of ages, Cody's definitely going to be faster. They're chinny, they're both chinny. I won't act like they're not, and Cody can still get knocked out, but I don't think he will. I do think the Peyton Talbot fight came from Peyton Talbot have no wrestling. Cody will have the get-ups, Cody will have the initiative to get back up, and I think he can land something big and take him out. Ronnie has lost to Kyler Phillips, Unar Nurmagomedov, Victor Henry, Timur so he's lost to a lot of the top 15. I don't think Cody's very far away from the top 15 in bantamweight. He's definitely probably a win or two away, going straight back into those rankings, and that's why I'm going to pick the man to get it done. Right, we'll go into the favourite ACA now, and yeah, here we are inside the favourite ACA. We'll start with a joke on Buckley. You know, I think Buckley beats Usman. I think Usman will definitely show a good account of himself, but I think in a 5-rounder now, with the way that his cardio's been going, his knees, his cobblestone knees, he's getting a bit older, he's a bit more on the shelf, he's a bit more, you know, you kind of just expect Usman to kind of just fall away. I would say Buckley finishes him in the 3rd or 4th round with a knockout. I think Buckley's just the man to go ahead in this division. I think he looks like a future title challenger. He's taken out a lot in this division. He's beaten Thompson, he's beaten Kobe. He's looking good in a lot of his performances, and I don't see Usman really upsetting this. Don't get me wrong, I think Usman will have a good performance. I think Usman will still prove that he's definitely top 10, definitely top 5, but he's just not able to hang with the younger, fresher guys, the more hungry guys. And look, I would have never said this about Joaquin Buckley at the start of his MMA career when he lost to Kevin Holland. I would never thought I would have been saying this, but the man has refound himself at 185. He is a fucking tank at 185, and I do see him beating Usman. I can see him beating him, as I said, by finish in round 3 or 4, maybe a decision, but I see him just being able to workhorse him like he did to Kobe, like he did to fucking Thompson. Even though he wasn't winning the Thompson fight, they finished him. I kind of thought that was very, very close. I do think the same will happen here. I do think Kamaru Usman will keep it close, but Buckley will find the finish. Buckley has the power in his hands, so give me Buckley at 4-11. Next one to Cody Durden, who's fighting Jose Ochoa. Now, the Jose Ochoa one to me is weird because he's only had one fight in the UFC, and it's against Lorna Kavanagh. Now, he looked good, he stayed in there, and he made Lorna Kavanagh work for it. Lorna Kavanagh's fucking killer, so you know, I don't see any issue with it. But I can see Cody Durden being the UFC veteran, bit more the vet, bit more gritty, being able to turn this into a bit more of a firefight. Lorna Kavanagh, great success in that fight by the ground. I don't think Durden has great wrestling, but he can do great get-ups. He has good solid stuff to stay in the base, good to hold you on the ground, won't panic if he goes on his back. He'll be smart to be able to get up. I think the power, realistically, from watching the Kavanagh fight, from what I've been able to see from Jose on the regional scene, he does seem to have I would say a slight speed advantage, slight, but I do also think he doesn't hold a massive amount of power, and that's where I think Durden could come in very handy here with power on the feet. I think at 29-28 again, I don't see it I see a close fight. I see Durden taking it by decision at 13-8. You can give me that one. Next we have Michael Chiesa going in against Court McGee. Look, to be honest, I would love to kind of say that I'm rooting for Court McGee. I like Court McGee. I actually don't really have any issue on Big Court. I would say I'd have any real issue with Court McGee. I don't, and I'm kind of rooting for him to win. Like, I always love seeing him, but unfortunately I do think Chiesa's going to be able to just take him down inside the first round like he done to Tony Ferguson. Probably grab an anaconda or Darce and finish the fight pretty quickly. One of those two, maybe even a guillotine. Probably a first round submission, Michael Chiesa. I don't really think there's anything else to say at 2-7. Now we have Ricky Simone fighting Cameron Sullivan. No, Ricky's always been a fucking dog. I kind of have to take the man at 2-11. I'd say Ricky comes in here, just puts on a great veteran performance, probably catches him, maybe submits him in round 1 or 2. I'd say he's going to be able to grab it to the ground, just be able to just outwork him really. I think the striking is on Cameron Sutherland's side, but Ricky has a strong chin. Ricky probably won't be knocked down with something like that. Ricky has the wrestling. I think Ricky's wrestling and grappling will be massive inside this fight. An early submission could be on the cards, but I'm going to say Ricky Simone gets it done at 2-11. Next we're going to the underdogs. And for the underdogs, I actually have 4. For the first time in a long time, we have 4 underdogs. Yes, because this card is just full of them. The odds on this card is weird to me, but look, I'm not going to say this anymore because I was fucking completely wrong on everything last week, so let's not talk about it. Okay, we'll start with Phil Rowe. He's fighting Angelusa. Now look, I don't think either of these two are world class. Neither of these two are ever going to fight for a belt. Neither of these two are ever going to go exactly high in the MMA scene. Tyler Lapillas, Angelusa, very much the same fighters. Two people that probably should have been released by now. But Angelusa's still here. Angelusa is very boring. If the best way to describe him is probably just boring. I wouldn't really... If someone asked me, should I watch this fight, I'd say no. He's not interesting. Phil Rowe's nothing special either, but I do think Phil Rowe has the better striking between them. For being honest, Angelusa's win against Royce McCree was just him literally just grappling for nearly the whole fight. Of course, he has a strong grappling base. I'm not saying to get away from that, but he just isn't interesting. It's hold and hold for position and try win and control time. I do think Phil Rowe has the stronger power in the hands. I do think it's capable grappling between both them. I don't think Phil Rowe is going to be taken down easily. I think he's going to be able to stay on the feet, and maybe a lot of cage and clinch is what I expect this fight to be. It could be a firefight. I could have this completely wrong, but I'm still going to take Phil Rowe 11-10. Next, going to Miranda Maverick. Now, I know Rose Namajunas has beaten Tracy Cortez and taken down a few others, but her loss to Erin Blanchfield, to me, might still watch this Maverick fight might be as well. I do think Maverick will come in here with the heavy wrestling game like she always does. So, she uses her strength over a lot of people in 125. She hasn't exactly beaten anyone at this point. I get it to the extent to the odds with Miranda Maverick, but the Erin Blanchfield fight I think is going to be kind of the blueprint that I think Maverick's going to look at here. Rose is kind of accepting to stay on her back nowadays as she's gotten older in her career, and I really don't think that's going to change. I do think she has the striking advantage. Miranda Maverick has never really had great striking, but if she can get this to the ground, a 15-minute fight, a 5-rounder, I would say this could be completely different and completely fucked. But in 15 minutes, the same way Erin Blanchfield done it, she landed 8 takedowns on Rose in that fight. I see 4 plus for Miranda Maverick here. I think she's going to be able to take her down and just control her for 15 minutes. I don't think there's going to be any damage or submissions. It's going to be a boring decision with a bit of control. Maybe a judge's decision, maybe a bit of a robbery, but I can see Miranda Maverick winning this just from the Erin Blanchfield game plan of being wrestle heavy. Rose is very almost too accepting to stay on her back, and I don't think that's going to change. I really don't think Rose is going to change anything. Next to moving to Paul Craig. Now I'm just going to add in what I said about Paul Craig as a lock. I'm not going to talk about it again. And then I know everyone's looking at this one right here, kind of like what's going on. Paul Craig, I'm taking Bear Jew. I believe the man at 4-1 still has it in the tank to win this fight. Back at 205, not happening to cripple himself down to 185. Look, he's on a skid. He's on a skid. Let's just get the wolf out of the cage. Let's just get the fucking elephant in the room. He's on a skid. He's been finished by Kai Bahalio. He went to that very boring decision with Bo Nickel. He's been submitted by Brandon Allen. all top guys in the division, and to be honest, to me, Belento is nowhere near any of them. He is nowhere near top of the division. This is the type of fights that I keep saying in my matchmaking videos that Paul Craig should have. Welcoming a guy new into the division that is small enough that you can make a name off it. And look, I'm going to be honest, Paul Craig is very good, is really good. He can still beat him. I don't think that there's that much to really ponder here. Now, the only issue with Paul Craig is his entries and takedowns aren't very good. For how good of a submission artist he is, if it hits the mat, Paul Craig's going to submit him. But it's the lack of submissions by Paul Craig that kind of kills this with his takedowns. Now, what I can see is from Beanto's stuff, from his Victor Petrino's losses and everything, that he just comes in for firefights. And look, Paul Craig's chin is questionable. He's chinny. But I think he could actually survive some of these. I believe that if Beanto starts to fire off at Paul Craig, I have a feeling he could maybe slip something, get in the underhooks and get him down to the mat. Because if Paul Craig gets him down to the mat, this fight's over. If you watch the Jimmy Crute fight, Beanto looked fucking confused. I don't think he's fought a high level competition like this. Victor Petrino is not high level. He's been submitted in one of the dumbest guillotines ever by Anthony Smith. He literally just picked him up and got guillotined. So your two losses, him and the Brazilian regional scene, fought cans otherwise, came in, fought Jimmy Crute, who is a bit of a UFC veteran, looked absolutely dazed, confused, bug-eyed, had no idea what to do, because he only has one style, it's brawl and small, that's it. If that doesn't work, he doesn't know what to do, and I honestly believe Paul Craig can drag him down or get this fight down to the mat. With Belanto shooting, I wouldn't be too surprised. He's done that a lot in the Jimmy Crute fight. He decided to sit on his back for a lot more than what I've expected. If he shoots against Paul Craig, I'm going to be honest, it's good night Irene. Take Paul Craig by submission. This is going to land, I'm telling you. Paul Craig by submission. I have a feeling he's going to try and get Paul Craig down. Paul Craig will reverse, hit him in an arm triangle and submit him. Paul Craig is going to win this at 4-1. I'm just so confident in this because Belito is useless. This is one of these ones where this is the fights I want Paul Craig to get. Stop giving him top 15 guys. Stop giving him guys that are going to push into the top rank. Stop doing it. Just give him the actual lads who are coming into the UFC to really test them. I'm picking Paul Craig. I'm going with Paul Craig. Okay, next we go on to Andrei Petroski. Now, Petroski's fighting Edmen Shahbazian, and look, in Andrei Petroski's last fight, I do actually think he lost. I do think Vieira beat him. From rewatching that fight, Petroski was really just trying to land big shots like he does in all of his fights. It's just left and right hooks, overhands, just trying to land big shots. No real technique, no real setup in the box, and just trying to land big shots. Now, in the defense of him here, I think that will work against someone like Edmen Shahbazian. I think Edmen Shahbazian is extremely good for about 3.5 minutes of the first round. Then he starts to tire. This is kind of more of a battle of cardio. I do think Petroski has the better cardio. Petroski is on a 3-fight winning streak. I think Petroski comes in here, lands the big shots, catches Shahbazian in round 2. I think he drops him and then he finishes him. I think it's definitely a finish is going to come in this fight. No distance will be definitely the real shout. But I can see Andrei Petroski taking this one down. I think he finishes it in round 2, as I said. Next we will go into the ACA, but I'll just show a screenshot up here right now of what the ACA is, what the odds is, and yeah, that's going to be it. They're going to be the picks. I do think that we definitely should land something this week. I'll probably delete this channel if we fail all again this week. But anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button or hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next one. Peace.